YouTubers, I'm going to take you through a tour through my gunsmithing case. I take this to matches with me. I take it to the range with me. I can pretty much do a complete trigger job out in the field if I needed to with this. Please, by all means, comment on what you think I might additionally need to have in there. I'm always looking to enhance this case. So I have, in this compartment here, I have a bunch of punches. Most of these I do not use. These are the brass punches. I just keep them in there for whatever reason. I don't know. I might end up filing one down to make it fit for some component that I need punched out. These ones are the ones I predominantly use, especially this one. This one is a Starrett center punch, and it's mainly meant to that you punch a divot into a piece of sheet metal, and then it prevents your drill bit from skating around on the metal. So I use this for punching out staked roll pins. Works very, very well because it goes into the little hole in the center of a roll pin, and then it prevents it from coming off of there. And then these are roll pin starter punches, which I don't really use because I've eliminated the rolled roll pins, and so I don't use these for restaking anymore. In this compartment here, I have a bunch of fun little things. So here's a punch that I made. It's flattened. I'm not sure what I made this for. I think it was more for my jewelry making processes. And here are some, oh, these are easy outs, which I bought to remove the magazine release button, which I ended up drilling out. And then this is for retapping a 3.5 millimeter bolt, because the grip panel bolts are pricey. They're about $12 a piece in Canadian dollars, so I figured I'll make my own if I ever need to. And oh no, sorry, these are the easy outs. These might be the tap and dies. These are the tap and dies right here. Those are the taps. And this is the die. Sorry, I keep forgetting where my camera is. It's right over here somewhere. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so I have to remember to keep things focused on the right hand side. So these are the easy outs, and I haven't tried them out yet. Haven't had a need to. These are smaller size. Okay, on to this section here is where I keep some of the bigger parts. Just some empty baggies in case I need to. Oh, here's a slave pin. These are really good to have when you're doing a reduced power trigger return spring or changing out the trigger return spring. That holds all your components together. And more baggies, and then I've got some slide lock pins. These ones were the low profile pins meant for the SP01 Shadow, not the Shadow 2. And so what ended up happening was that they would not allow the slide to lock back. In fact, it wouldn't allow the slide to lock at all or even work. So ended up having to do a lot of work filing all of this area down here to make it fit. And in addition, had to file this notch in here to make it a bit bigger. So now they work, and they're basically spares, because I've got some properly fitted ones from another vendor. And this is a trigger bar. I keep an extra one in here. So I basically pre-polished these. And then if I end up doing a trigger job, what I do is throw the pre-polished trigger bar in. So I do these on my off time, basically, or my periods of boredom when I'm not doing other things. And let's have a look here. What else we got here? Okay, so this is a Cajun Gun Works. That's a 75B trigger, which I've never installed. I'm not sure why. This is a bit of a jumble mess here. A roll of tape, always handy. I've got some drivers here for these are really handy to have for double alpha because they're Allen bolts tend to loosen up, and it really helps if you consequently use some blue glue once you get them into the position where you want them, is to just add a bit of thread locker on there. And I keep a lighter in there for doing the fiber optic front sights, which I'm obviously not using because I'm using a red dot. But this helps if somebody does end up losing their fiber optic sight, front sight, the actual fiber itself, you can quickly fix that in the field. This was a really super great investment. This is a Cordless Dremel, which comes with a USB charger, which is absolutely brilliant because pretty much everybody has those portable hand warmers or portable battery chargers. I have probably 5 of them at least. You can easily recharge these in the field if necessary, but this was a super great investment because I use this out in the field for testing springs. So I'll cut the spring, main spring, out at the range, throw it back into the gun, test fire it. If it works, I'll take off another coil or half a coil, and I can fine tune the spring right out there at the range. So this is a great tool to have. Another tool I keep in there are my calipers, and I have a ergonomic pair of pliers. These are chain nose pliers. I have some Dremel polishing bits here, as well as a charger, which the USB charger plugs into if I have access to electrical if I need it. And then I have some cutoff discs. These are necessary for doing the springs. And then just some polishing bits here. Most of my polishing is done by hand, but I might give these a try. They're fairly soft, so they're not going to do a whole lot of wear and tear. There's some extra cutoff discs here. There's another USB charger. I don't suppose I actually need to have this anymore because I have this, so I'm going to take that out. And then this was cool. I got this from Wolverine Supplies, and it has a bottle opener, not that I ever need that. And then it has a cell phone stand, which I don't use, a letter opener, which I don't use, but it's got a bunch of these socket sized cutouts, which is kind of neat. And then I use it as a screwdriver as well. There's some nice little parts of it that can be used as a screwdriver. This is one of my favorite tools to use as basically a pin punch here. It's got a very, very pointy end on it. And I use this one for moving the sear spring up out of the way so I can get the safeties out. This I just purchased, and these are some Arkansas stones or ceramic stones for doing trigger job, obviously. So it comes in a variety of shapes. It's actually meant for sharpening knives, but I think these are going to work great for any filing or polishing that needs to happen, or stoning of the parts, and they're very, very smooth. Yeah, it's going to be nice. So that was a good buy, and that was by Spyderco Incorporated. Proudly made in Colorado in the USA. Okay, I have a pair of very fine tweezers here. Sorry about the flipping back and forth. I keep forgetting that camera's not over here, it's over here. So fine point tweezers. What I'd like to be able to do is actually demagnetize these things, because the little roll pins tend to stick on there a lot. And then I have some super glue, another good thing to have in there. I don't know where the lid is, it's somewhere. We'll find it later. I've got a few brushes. These are nice for getting into very, very small areas. So they're tiniest is very, very small. Get a little focus on that. Great for cleaning. And then I have, of course, some safety glasses, bifocal, and a gunsmithing hammer with the soft rubber tips. One is hard plastic and the other one is soft plastic. And then I just picked this up the other day. It's really hokey, but it's a retract a bit. So instead of losing drill bits or screwdriver bits everywhere in your gunsmithing box, you have them all in one place here. And this is actually another punch, I think. It's the right shape for it. And then I have a bunch of the fiber optic sights in yellow, red, replacement heads for the hammer, and green. Not sure why I bought yellow and green, but I did. Somebody might not like red. Somebody might be colorblind, and then the yellow would be better for them. I need to get a cable keeper for that. Okay, so I have a magnetic tray, and I keep a little nail here. It's works great as a slave pin for a slave pin if you're having trouble. If you don't want to use one of your expensive punches, which I do have. These are Starrett punches. This is best quality I think you can buy. Be careful with your brass punches because they do bend very easily, and the next thing you know they could be busted. So with this one here, I obviously punched something that I shouldn't have. I'm going to heat that up and then retemper it. And this is the smallest steel one, so I should have actually used the steel before I went and did the brass. So that can be straightened out. I'll fix that up. Be kind to your tools. Save that for later. So I have a Wheeler Engineering trigger gauge. The best way I've seen or experienced pulling these is to actually, let's see if I can get this in camera here. Rather than holding the gun like this vertically and then pulling, which allows the gun to move, is to actually lay it on its side, support it, and then pull the trigger. So there's going to be a lot less movement, you're going to be able to control the gun and the trigger gauge, and then pull it back so that it stays in a horizontal plane perpendicular to the gun. Anyways, not sure if that's showing up properly on camera, but that's the way I'm doing it now. Not that it's right, but that's the way I think it's going to be probably the most accurate. Next is a fat wrench. These are great to have, so you can actually adjust, make sure that your torque is suitable for the part. You don't want to over torque your optics, you don't want to over torque your grip panels, and any of the other screws that or bolts that hold things together. Let's have a look here. So this here is my spring box, and I have my, these are basically just jewelry boxes that crafters use, so they're really super handy because they're all compartmentalized and they're cheap. So I have my recoil springs here. I have some tuned 8-pound springs that I've tuned down. Oh, look at this. This was an extra. So this is where I keep my cutoff disc for cutting down the springs. Okay, let's see what else we got here. So this is my box for the extended firing pins. Keep them in there. Oh, there's my lid for my super glue. This is a great little box. I just picked this up from Amazon. Again, it's meant for crafters. And I have everything organized here. I've got my reduced power trigger return springs, front sight pins, different. These are jewelry labels. They have a sticky section and then a non-sticky section. So this tab here is not sticky. That wraps around your part. So let's say your springs, and you fold that over, stick that on there, and then fold that over. Then you can label this, and this little tail here is not sticky at all, so nothing sticks onto your springs. There's no glue to melt or anything like that. So these are really super handy. I get them from one of my jewelry suppliers. I can't remember who. I have lots of them, so I've never had to reorder them in the past, so can't remember who I bought things from anymore. There's some more of them. Let's see here. There's some spare container boxes. My polishing papers. These are the 3M Zona papers going from coarsest to finest. I keep some, these are medical grade gauze. They're non-woven, meaning they're not linty. You won't get a whole bunch of dust and stuff getting into your gun, so these are really nice for cleaning. I like cleaning, use the 2x2s for cleaning the barrel, and then the 4x4s for cleaning the rest of the gun. I have some lubricants in here. I use Slip 2000 and Extreme Weapons Grease. And I'm not sure why I have this anymore, because honestly I don't use it anymore. I thought I would use it a lot more, but I basically do everything with my hands. I've simplified the processes now where I don't actually need to have a third hand to help me anymore. So I might end up taking that out because, yeah, I just really don't need it anymore. Polishing pads. These are like the papers, except they're in pad format. So it goes from coarsest, which is 1200 grit, might be 1500 grit, all the way down to 12,000 grit, which is the purple here. And very easily available in the United States, a little bit harder to find in Canada. I was lucky I got these a while ago. I've got some stock CZ parts in here, just in case somebody needs. Basically, these are all the parts I've taken out of my guns, and I just don't use them. If somebody ends up with a broken part, I have a replacement for them. And then some compressed air. Always keep some of that available. And then my silicone cloth for just giving the gun a wipe down after I've worked on it. And this is Prolix, and I just actually picked some of this up, and this is for cleaning, lubricating, preserving, bluing, nickel, stainless. Discover its many uses. Okay, so I haven't actually used this yet, but they were selling it on the IPSC website, and so I thought, okay, well, if they're selling it on the IPSC website, it's obviously probably pretty good. I may as well pick some up. I picked up 4 bottles, I think, so I'm going to use that for doing the deep cleans on the gun, and I might end up throwing some of that into the ultrasonic jewelry cleaner that I have, and doing that as well. And the last thing I have here is the CZ Custom bench block, and this is absolutely the best find I've ever gotten here in Canada. And you can do your trigger job on here, so you place the gun on there, it holds it very securely. Punch out your pin for your trigger. The pin drops into this hole here, and then for the hammer, that fits in there, and it's raised a little bit so that it clears the mainspring strut and the disconnector. So the disconnector would get punched out here, and then it falls, the pin falls into here, and then the same thing with the mainspring strut, which would hang over here. I think I've got that orientation correct. Anyways, so that is my gunsmithing case. If anybody is interested in hearing about any of the parts that I have in here, or the tools, or you have suggestions about other tools that I should get, please let me know. I'm always on the hunt for more stuff. I'm like the ultimate CZ consumer. All right, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the single action only conversion coming up as soon as I get those parts.